Welcome back to Apex Alchemy. Today I have a testimony for you about Jed Hornbeak's customer service. It had nothing to do with the quality of a build, but it had something to do with the comfort of a carry. And so anyway, I do want to get into that. I'll tell you that story real quick. But I also have been asked a couple of times since I have jumped on the bandwagon of, not really jumping on a bandwagon, but I've stood beside the fact that I say that this dude makes some of the best knives in the country. Some people question my opinion. I'm no expert, so I get it. They want to know if I'm just being a shield because he's local or if he actually makes good stuff. Um, I'll have to break out an example. I will tell you that there's a company out there that makes $300 to $500 knives. Hell, some of them are more than that, and they hand grind all their knives. And as of late, a lot of knives been jumping out the door with uneven grinds. So we're gonna use this little tool right here because I screwed my calipers up. I was changing oil on a bad boy, and uh, I took them outside to measure a bolt or nut rather, and because I couldn't get anything to fit, so I left them out in the rain. So anyway, I'm gonna use this little tool right here to measure some grinds. But first, these are hand ground too, by the way. First, the story about this, man. It come with an excellent sheath. There was nothing wrong with the sheath. Nothing wrong with the sheath at all. The problem that I was having is that whenever I drive a truck and whenever I sit down, I would have to take this off because of this attitude adjuster back here. Like that would bend over with my seatbelt and all that stuff and end up poking me. It wasn't constant, but it would happen every once in a while, and I didn't know what was biting me. So I went back and asked Jed. I said, I do want to carry this knife on my right side. I've been carrying it on my left side, just backwards. So I'd carry it like, so on my left side and cross draw, right hand, no problem. I said, I'd like to carry it on my right side. How much would you charge? Make me another sheath. And he said, it won't be too bad. I said, okay. I said, I'd like to get another sheath made. He said, what do you want? I said, dude, you can make it identical to that one. You can make it as simple or as complex as you'd like. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to be able to carry it on my right-hand side, face forward, cross draw. He said, I got you. He said, give me a few weeks. A few weeks later, I get a phone call. He said, dude, I'm done with your sheath. Come by, pick it up. I can mail it to you, whatever. And so, went by there yesterday, picked up my new sheath. Dude, it is a little different. It's got a brass pan in here. It's laced up with something some sort of different material. That's a different grade of leather, or maybe not a different grade of leather, a different size of string or whatever. I don't know, but I couldn't be happier. Could barely get him to take anything. That's his maker remark. Just in case it's the first time you turn it in and you happen to be curious about Jed Hornbeak. Can barely, he didn't take enough money as it was, bro. Like I could barely get him to take anything, and it wasn't a problem with his sheath. It was a problem with my carry, my very limited ability. Like if I didn't have love handles back here and I exercised a little bit more, that wouldn't have poked me, right? And that's not his problem. Not his problem at all. But he took it, he took on the challenge, and this is the extent that he'd go to make sure his customers are happy. And I was like, man, I said, you can't be doing me these bro deals like this. I said, you allow me to cost you money. It's gonna make me feel bad. He said, I've done that for any of my customers, and I believe that. I do. I believe that. This is that Antler Hunter model. In case you hadn't saw the video. Beautiful knife, man. Very comfortable too. Like, I think it's beautiful. Like, my son plays Red Dead Redemption, and it kind of reminds me of some old cowboy knife. I think it was Ken Faulkner, and I can't remember how Dopey maybe made some comments about how you kind of need a cowboy cowboy hat, and some old Western stuff to carry this thing. You know, some boots. I told him, I said, I got a pair of Ariats and a pair of Hey Dudes. That's what I'm carrying it with. But yeah, it's a great knife, man. I love this thing. It's probably like it's not the most expensive Jed Hornbeak we got or anything, but it's probably my favorite personally. You know, it just has the most amount of character. It's got the most the story to tell. You know, this is artificial sinew, so it's, you know, it's not real, but I love the butt of the knife, all that stuff. Glad to have it back, because he had to have the knife to make the sheath, right? That's the way that goes. Maker's mark right here. Just customer service, top notch. Never did I hear a cross word about what I was asking for. He took my request and he got around to it when he had the time to do so. I'm not sure how many knives I sent him back, how many days it cost him. I don't know how long it takes him to make a sheath like that, but he was willing to do it at a very, very minimal charge. Very minimal. And this isn't, this isn't a high dollar, like this is a $500 Jed Hornbeak. That's Kermit Rhodesian. That's Baker's Mark. And of course I'll shill it. They're made right here in Hornbeak, or they're made in Hornbeak, Tennessee. I live in Tiptonville, right down the road, 12, 13 miles. Of course I'll shill it. I'm proud of him. But I'm not just proud of him because he makes knives. He's not the only person around here that makes knives. He's the only person around here that makes knives that's good that I know of. JB Stout lives not too far away either, and he makes some really great folders as well, right? You know, like I would say 2/3 of the stuff he sells is $1,000 plus on folders, and it's a little bit out of my range right now as a collector. So I don't have no opinion about JB Stout. I believe wholeheartedly that he makes good quality stuff, and you know the sales tell me that story. He carries 50 Blades of Blade show within an hour of opening up. He ain't got nothing left. Sharing a table with Jed Hornbeak. That should tell you something. But if it don't, that's fine. This guy right here is going to blow up. CPM 3V on this Kermit. Big old thick slab. Wish I could tell you exactly how thick it was. I want to say it was almost a quarter. It's in between 3/16 and a quarter. Sharpened edges everywhere. We can't really judge this knife on even grinds, because it's not ground on both sides, the same anyway, right? But it is hand ground. I would assume this is machine assisted, but I've seen him hand grind these bevels into these knobs, man. So I know they're hand ground to at least some extent. Anyway, let's remove this one from the equation for a second, and we'll break out our little tool that I should know the name of. I guess this is a different kind of caliper. So there's a proper name for it though. All right. So I'm gonna use the standard side, and it goes up in eighths until it gets to a whole inch. I can barely see this thing. I'm going blind. But I wanna start right here. I want to start right here in that second jump. Just kind of go straight down the blade, or straight down the grind until we get to the edge, right? Or the end of it. So what are we looking at? 54. Not quite to the 56 line. 56 was about it was just right before we get to the inch line. So 54 on this side. Flip the knife over. See what the story is on this side. Sorry, y'all. 54. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, man. All right. Anyway, both sides. Knife is evenly ground, and it's a hollow ground as well. Not the most pronounced hollow ground, but it is a hollow ground. All right, let's go to the end of it. You see where that tip is right there? That's where I want to line that up with. 56. That'd be easy, right? Okay. Get over here. Oh, snap. Okay. 56. Take it down here to that compound. $43. Right. Line that up with the grind. I'll make sure I'll add that other side lined up with the grind too in just a second. I started spouting off numbers I wouldn't. Oh, that is, I bet I wouldn't. That's 48, 49, 52, 52 on this side. All right, so let's go back over here to this side, y'all. Make sure we're lined up with the grind. $50. Maybe 51. So it's a little bit off, right? A little bit off, but that's a tolerance I can live with. We're not talking about a millimeter, y'all. I mean, like, let's look at the millimeter side. If we judged it, okay, 51, about 22 millimeters. Is that right? 21, my eyes, man. About 21.5 millimeters. We will redo this when we get some calipers. I've got some ordered. I have a better pair. Okay. Yeah, 21.5. So I mean, we're not talking about a millimeter there. You know, like when with the 1/64, you know, it might be 1/64 of an inch off on one side than it is the other, but 1/64 of an inch, dude. Like that's incredible. You know, what about if we go from the tip to this compound? And I want to go from that angle all the way to the tip. Shit. It's magnetic. Let me get this thing clamped on my hand. Okay, keeping it metric because the letters are bigger, or the numbers are bigger. Be 42. Let's say that. 42. All right. Go over here. Oh. 42. So your grinds are lining up, man. You know, that'd be millimeters, 42 millimeters from this point to the tip, 42 millimeters from that point to the tip. You know, the grinds are even, as they damn well should be on a $500 knife, right? They're and this is hand ground, you know. And I'll tag Jed Hornbeak in this video. And if this knife specifically isn't hand ground, he can let us know. But I'm confident in saying that his knives are hand ground. Just seen his workshop, seen the way he's doing things. What about this antler hunter over here, man? It's got it'd be a little harder to tell on this one because it's got the rock stuff going on with it. I guess we can go from this peak here, go down to that. Let's see if we got the same stamp on the other side. No, we don't, do we? Okay. It'd be hard to tell, you know, like about the grind lines on this one. But they're not off bad. We'd probably measure something up here, but probably wouldn't be to the exact 64s. That's where your smaller stuff's at. You're like it didn't get these long marks. Okay, let's see what happens. About 12 millimeters, or about 36 is where, yeah, about 36 from the bottom of that. But you can't really consider that a grind line, I don't think. Y'all let me know what you think. But go back over here. Where was we at? We was right here. Yeah, about 13 millimeters, maybe 14. And 32. Well, how the hell does that work? That's 36 and 12. Oh, yes. Curve of the blade. So yeah, it's backwards. All right. Anyway, man, this I've got no problem with the quality of these knives, you know, and I don't think you would either, you know, but that's for you to decide, right? Ultimately. But I'm extremely happy with my customer service experience. I don't think he did it just because I live down the street. I don't think he did it just because I'm a content creator or a so-called content creator. I think he did it because you know, I buy his knives and I'm you know, I'm a customer. He takes me seriously, and if you're a customer, I think he takes you just as seriously. I don't think there's any favoritism there. Like I've heard stories, but this is the first story that I have, and I couldn't be happier. And yes, it makes it hard to look around the room and see other stuff that I know wouldn't be taken as seriously. You know, from other companies. Like I'm looking at a couple knives right now. I know if I had this problem, that tough shit. Find a universal sheath. I don't want a universal sheath. I want a Jed Hornbeak sheath. You know, tough shit. Find a universal sheath is what they tell you. Or you know, hey, get your ass in the gym, lose some weight, and they rightfully be able to tell you to do so. But in my instance, it's not what I got. In my instance, I got a new sheath. In my instance, I'm experiencing nice even grinds. In my instance, I'm experiencing nice clean grinds too. And I'm not saying there's no machining involved at all. You know, like, I mean, what I'm saying is like, just hand ground elements. Small imperfections. You're supposed to have, you know? And I think the dude, you know, like, yeah, I'll buy a Randall. I'm going to buy a Randall. It's like, you know, people ask me, like, how does it stack up against Randall? I can't honestly tell you that because I don't have one. You know, from what I hear, you know, Randall makes a great knife. You know, like one of the best in the business, right? I will eventually get a Randall. I'll try to get one before the end of this year. I want to get my hands on one so I can properly give it a comparison. Not a versus video, but if that's the benchmark everybody wants to go to. It's either that or Bark River. I'm going to tell you right now, man. Yeah. These are all my Jed Hornbeaks, and these are all my Bark Rivers. Whatever that's worth to you. You guys have a great one. I'll catch you on the flip side.